So the move trigger has had a bit of an update. Let's take a look. It's still purple, which is nice. There's a 1. Here's a 1. So now they've set this to 1. It means that any changes I make in here will affect this thing here because it's also 1. Let's move this 20 across. Sure. So we can actually see it. There you go. Now that moves across 20. And if you're already familiar with the move trigger, then you'll know that these are different presets for how it moves. So this is ease in, so it moves a bit more easier, I guess. And then we've got like bounce and all sorts of fun presets, but we're not going to focus too much on those because the main thing for this tutorial is these things. These are the lock controls. What it used to be is it used to be lock to X or lock to Y. That's not the case anymore. So we've got a few options here. This is the legacy one that we had in 2.1. This will lock to player X and this will lock to player Y. In other words, now this block is gonna follow us around. As soon as we get to here, it's gonna follow the X and the Y. In fact, I'm gonna make it hold for a bit longer so you can see what's going on. Follows our X and our Y. In fact, let's be a little creative here. I'm gonna make a hat for our player. There we go, we've got a hat. We've also got X mod and Y mods. They're like little nuanced pieces to the lock X and lock Y, so it's like a little modifier for that up and down motion. So you notice how it doesn't go up and down as much? And sort of follows us. It does follow us, but it's like very slow. That's because we've messed around with these and our X mod means it's basically going nowhere. So let's make it like a little bit slower. And this Y mod, yeah, let's just make it full. So now it'll just be a little bit slower than us. And you can also make it lock to the camera as well. So when you have a camera, whatever it is, you can make it so it locks to the camera instead of the player. And now we've got target mode and direction mode, and target mode moves objects to a target group ID, and it must be a single object. The center group ID declares the center of your objects that you want to move, which also must consist of a single object only, and selecting these player 1 and player 2 is basically, if you're in dual mode, this one will follow the player 1, and this one will follow the player 2. So you have to have individual triggers for player 1 and another one for player 2. And then we have direction mode. Direction mode is a little bit more complex. It moves the objects in the direction of a target group ID, which must be a single object. The center group ID declares the center of objects they want to move, which also must be a single object. And this distance slider here indicates how far in the direction we want these objects to move. As before, one block is equal to the value of 10 distance units, much like it is for these